In entering upon the Self Love Show, each of you should, so far as possible, lay aside for the time being all previous theories and beliefs. By so doing, you will be saved the trouble of trying all the way through the course to put new wine into old wineskins. Luke chapter 5, verse 37. If there is anything as we proceed which you do not understand or agree with, just let it lie passively in your mind until we have completed the entire show. For many statements that would at first arouse antagonism and discussion will be clear and easily accepted a little farther on. After the show is completed, if you wish to return to your old beliefs and ways of living, you are at perfect liberty to do so. But for the time being, be willing to become as a little child. For said the master in spiritual things, quote, except ye become as little children, ye shall in no wise enter the kingdom of heaven. End quote. Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. So if at times there seems to be repetition, please remember that these are lessons and not lectures.
They're lessons. That's facts. Yeah, we had, last Saturday we had a great show. Had a great caller. We talked about Trump and the COVID. Had a great caller.
That was Patricia from Nevada.
Yeah, from Nevada. Yep.
Yeah, we had an elder call in and actually dropped some nice jewels. We opened the phone lines up and had some theories about number 45 and the COVID and things of that nature. So
yeah, we discussed it briefly, and it looks like he's having some issue, even though he's out of the hospital or what have you. It looks like he's having a little trouble breathing when I see him. But what can you do? What can you say?
Yeah, and one thing I want to say is that that one caller was the only caller that had the gonads, the Chicago gonads, to call in. A lot of people have comments. They hit me on the back channels and type in the comment screens and got everything to say, but when it's time to chime in and put it on Front Street, it's crickets. I should have had my sound effects ready for that, but it's crickets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have them ready next time. But the point I'm making is, when we open these phone lines up, people, don't be bashful, don't be shy. We could take it, because any criticism, any critique is good critique. We strive to get better every day.
Every single day.
Every single day. So if there are some topics that you'd like to have discussed, if you have questions like during this particular show, we have a great individual here today that's agreed to give us some time. So I kind of want to get into it because I don't want to take up a lot of his time. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sandra Bland, Self Love. You remember anything about that earth? And may she rest in
power. Yes, I do. That was ridiculous what happened, and it's still up in the air. I don't know. Maybe we'll get some closure from Cannon.
Yeah. That was the case where the lady, forgot what college she attended, maybe Eastern,
Prairie View.
But she was
Prairie View, and she was going back to Prairie View to do a summer program or something. She was going to be working there when she got pulled over and arrested for a traffic stop. Like the 12, that's the 12 story for real. Like, somebody, the 12 pulls up on her, she gets out the way, and he pulls her over for not using her signal.
Correct. So it's my understanding she was like a member of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. She was a professional, not that any of this should matter, but she wasn't quote unquote about that life. She was actually an active, she was speaking out against 12 shenanigans. She was she had just recently become an activist, kind of speaking out against 12. So it's almost like a coincidence, or was it? So it was something I mentioned on the show, Self Love, maybe a couple of shows ago, when we were giving instructions to our youth that 12 will ride up on you, and they'll ride up on you fast with no
Yeah.
lights, and you'll either speed up or you'll move over. But if you move over and you don't signal, then 12's going to say, improper lane change. And that's exactly what she said happened to her.
Yeah.
And that has happened to me on a back road in the south suburbs of Chicago. They ride up
No
on you,
doubt.
and you're like, well, they have to get by. Obviously, they have some business ahead of me. And so you speed up, and then you pull over, and then they get you for, nonsense. So, but this gentleman is someone that we both actually attended undergrad with. And he's a member of our fraternity, Cannon Lambert. He's an attorney. He did his undergrad at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. I'm proud of him for one thing.
I'm beyond proud of him.
But are you surprised? Are you surprised at his success?
No, not at all. Not in the least. I knew this younger brother was destined for being the person he is. Like, I knew it. I helped bring him into our fraternity, and man, he's been trajectory's been ever since.
Yeah, and he his he's Chicagoland's very own, so he's not necessarily repping or claiming Chicago proper per se. However, his story is tied to all of our Hodge, because the first thing we all say as a nation is you want to move out of the environment and move to the suburbs. So here's a gentleman whose family moved out of the environment and moved to the suburbs. And so we want to get into how it was for him attending Glenbard South High School, and then and how he became who he became. There was, just real quick before we bring him in here, less than 2 seconds. Self Love. He practices injury law. So he does anything from auto crashes, rideshare collisions, civil rights, nursing home abuses. Notable cases: Naperville 18 versus Buffalo Wild Wings. I remember that case. That Buffalo Wild Wings. I used to work right there. I actually went to that Buffalo Wild Wings a couple times before the case and after the case, and they never got any better. It's
Right. That's ridiculous.
It's I don't want to say it's in their DNA, but because that's wrong. But it's a stench. It's like Tori. It's like you lay on top of a cadaver for a month, and then you think you're going to go in and take a 5-minute shower, and you're not going to smell like a cadaver. You know what I mean?
They can't unlearn the behavior. That's the issue. So the behavior has been taught, and it's ingrained.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I know of one more notable case. It's it's probably not to the main public, but when I had my incident when the lady hit me and ran me over, Cannon represented me
and won. So but you will get there. And then at Buffalo Wild Wings, that's where the black kids were asked to change seats because of a pink customer didn't want to sit near black kids, and the manager came out and literally asked them and their family to move because of the pink customer. If the pink customer doesn't want to sit around black kids, they can sit at home and cook dinner or something.
Yeah.
Now,
really?
I mean,
place.
well, yeah. Now, also Culver's, and for anybody whose last name may be Tench, who eats at Culver's 3, 4, 5 times a day. There was a Culver's cross-burning employment discrimination case. Yeah, Butterburgers. And then he also Polk versus Cook County Sheriff. The father was locked in a Cook County jail vestibule for 2 days. Can you imagine?
What?
2 days.
2 days?
2 days. That's torture. They didn't do Osama bin Laden like that, rest his soul.
Man, that's crazy, man.
Can we say Osama bin Laden on live TV? Can we say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we discussed the Sandra Bland versus Waller County, the traffic stop ending in death. Also, Going versus the CTA. You might remember that one, Self Love. The bus driver struck and paralyzed the victim. You know, you can paralyze somebody if you hit them hard enough, people.
Yes. If you didn't know.
And then Spencer versus Board of Education, student drowning case in Cincinnati.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and then Thompson versus Calumet City Police, traffic stop with victim sexually assaulted by the officers. So without further ado, we have this brother here waiting patiently. Let's see here. You might want to have him click the link because he was in here and he's not now. So he probably does. Tell him to click it now.
All right.
Yeah, it don't surprise me either, Tori, man. He was a focused cat, man, on the yard.
Most definitely. Just man. At school and work, he got all it done, and partying and playing too.
Here he is now. So let's
all right.
Let's welcome Attorney Cannon Lambert, Black King. Let me get you unmuted. Let me get you unmuted, sir. Let me get you unmuted in here.
The cannonball, baby.
Good to see you.
The Cannon. What's up, sir?
How you doing? How are you?
Hey, God is good, brother. How about yourself?
Yes, man. He keeps us in the palm of his hand, doesn't he? By the grace of God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You all look good. You look good.
Yeah, you're looking good.
Thank you.
What are you in your home office?
Yeah. With my kids' art when they were little, when they were posted up on the wall.
Hold on to it. It'll be worth something. Hey, no, I was at home and I was watching. I'm not a big MSNBC guy. I mean, I don't watch any of it anymore. But I used to lean more towards CNN, right? But I'll watch MSNBC and then I'll flick to Fox. But then I'm flicking through it, and then I see Cannon, on TV next to Sandra Bland's mom. Yeah.
What did he do wrong? What did he do?
But bro, the funny thing is, you hear voices, and you hear the voice, and you're like, wait, I know that voice. Yeah. More so than the face. You know what I mean? I know that cadence. So yeah, bro, it was just good seeing that, man. Yeah. Real proud of you on your achievement. So
all you're doing is looking in the mirror. I'm proud of you all.
Hey, thanks, man.
Hey, much appreciation, man. That's thank you.
So I kind of covered your background. As everybody knows, and I just want to remind our group, more of what we do, we're not about clout chasing, we're not about gossip, we're not about trying to dig into the business of any of the cases he had. I mean, that's not what we're about. Anything he wants to share, he'll share. If you guys have any questions in the chat, if he can answer them, he'll answer them. We'll be checking the chat. Our show is more geared towards how we can help specifically young Black males and young Black females who may have dreams, ambitions, and goals, who may not have a role model that fits them. So in this particular situation, we all had our plight. So, my plight was one thing by the time I got to university. Leandrew was on here and he spoke about his plight at his high school and being a first generation African-American in pretty much all, white areas. So there's a plight there. We all say, move out of the community and, move to the suburbs. So now once we do that, there's information that we want to be able to share with people that once you get to that next step, there's a next step. So that's where we are. So where were you raised at?
So my mother and father, they divorced when I was 7.
Okay.
And we were living in Peoria. So when my parents divorced, my mom moved up to the Chicagoland area, but of course she didn't know anything about Chicago because she's from Cleveland, Ohio. Okay. The only thing that she tried to do is find an area where there was a a good school. She was 18, and so she wanted to.
Wow, she was young.
Yeah. So when I tell you, listen, I started life on third base because my mom, in spite of her age and in spite of the challenges she faced, she made sure that I didn't know that we were struggling. I never knew. So, from my perspective, the things that I've done and trying to do and all of that, really, it's not me. It's that somebody has paved the way a long time ago. That kind of made it really sort of a natural foregone conclusion that you're going to find some success. The key for me and the job that I have and continue to have is make sure I don't fumble on the 1 yard line.
Drop the stick, so to speak.
Yeah, that's what it is. So I ended up in we ended up in Glen Ellen because that was where she landed, only because she had been told there were some good schools in that area. Okay. But she didn't know anything about the area, and I know you were saying you talked to Drew.
Yeah.
Drew and I grew up in the same area, same community, Glen Ellen.
Yeah.
And it is a different experience, put it that way.
Well, it's alt-right. Well, can we say that? It's extremely alt-right.
It's very, very, very right-wing.
Okay.
And see, and back in the 80s when we were there, when I was living there, when I grew up there, it was DuPage County was the county, and it was among the most Republican counties, and staunchly Republican counties in the country, not just the state.
Yeah, it ranked with the same county with Simi Valley and Thousand Oaks in California. It ranked. Yeah. So you had a lot of the outcroppings that came with that were really firmly in place. Some of the, Darren Randolph, my ship, he grew up. My purse,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And his brother was one of the first, I think, or maybe it wasn't the first. He might have been one of the first Black students to go to the high school that we went to. So,
wow.
It was. Of course, when I'm 8, 9 years old, you don't have a real understanding of that. I knew what it was to be different than where I was at, though, because in Peoria it was no different. Peoria was kind of a, it was Pekin is not too far from there. They were burning crosses, in the year that I was. Right. So, the long and short of it is that, you kind of understood that you weren't like the folks that you were growing up around.